Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation, and for all the um, observers or critics or censors, that's the word I was looking for. What I want to, I always tell you that we only share medical proof that's in the public domain. We don't make things up. We don't make claims. So everything we're sharing with people has been proven to be completely safe. It's not something weird. It's not, we do nothing to offend people. As a matter of fact, if the reverse is true. The website that we offer is a free medical website where there's nothing to buy. There are no products there. We won't even contact people if they go there. So I want to make sure that the censors understand that we're not in violation of any guidelines. We're very careful to make sure the only thing we share with people is medical proof, right? So Raquel joined, Jules joined, user 772, Leisha joined, Lias Salisbury, I guess Tyler. Hello. So does everyone agree that's a stunning transformation? Also, you need to understand that is 30 days. That's with no exercise allowed. The researchers who created this new protocol has nothing to do with counting calories. It will make every calorie diet out there obsolete. It took them 40 years to create this, 40 years. And look at the end result. So effectively, this is how much weight she lost in just 30 days. 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches. That is in 30 days with no exercise. Look at the change in her stomach, her abdomen, her body shape. You can see the tremendous, tremendous change. Because this is not a diet, it doesn't work like a diet, it has nothing to do with counting calories. It's revolutionary. So what I'm going to do for everybody here in just a moment, I want to show you a couple more before and afters that will illustrate that this is for real. Now, the other thing I want to point out is this is backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. There's nothing higher in medical research than peer-reviewed human trial studies. You hear the term, this is a scientific paper. We have a scientific proven ingredient. That doesn't mean a darn thing in the medical world. You need peer-reviewed human trial studies on human beings. They cost a lot of money. They take a long time. Some of these studies here were started in 2012, 13 years ago. And this is, it's so revolutionary that most people are shocked. Most people think that that picture in some way is photoshopped. It's not photoshopped in any way. But I'd love for anyone to put in the comments, what you think about that particular picture or the other ones I'm going to show you. Then I'm going to explain to you exactly how did she do what she did, or how did the other people get these amazing results, not counting calories, a completely different approach. Also, can we get some taps on the screen to get some likes going? We're at 0 right now. Hello, Linda. Hello, Mrs. Spence. Hello, MV Vargas. Look, for all of you, let me say right away, I understand you're all skeptical. Immediately you're skeptical. Oh my God, that's unhealthy. That's fake. That's made up. Nothing is made up. Also, in terms of it being unhealthy, it's absolutely the opposite of being unhealthy. As a matter of fact, in this case, no one was allowed to exercise. Like she wasn't allowed to exercise. And in a month's time with no exercise, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, where you can see the development in her waist area, etc. So now, yes, thank you all for giving me some likes. Let's take a look at the second lady. Look at this. That's 5 weeks. That's 35 pounds she actually lost. That's 5 pounds a week. She lost 35 pounds in 5 weeks. She lost 7 pounds a week. Look at the difference in her neck, her arms, her stomach, her legs. That is not photoshopped. That is absolutely real. There's no way we photoshopped. We see, the thing about us, we don't have to make up anything. We don't have to make any false. We don't make claims. We don't make claims because we're reading to you from the. This is in the public domain. These 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, and actually we make them available to you right here on this website. Hold on, let me show it to you. See, right above our head says the new health conversation. That website is free to go there. It's a medical website. There's nothing to buy. And the question I always ask everybody in the audience as we build these big audiences, why wouldn't you go there and look at medical proof? There's no hyperbole. It's on this is live, by the way. This is not recorded. This is not an infomercial. This is medical research that could change the rest of your life. We're going to also show you before on this podcast today why dieting, including even Medicare, is saying diets don't work, because we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, and 50% pre-diabetic. I'd love for anybody to put in the chat a diet you think works. And I know people are going to come on and say, "Oh, I lost 50 pounds and I did this." But in the long range, number one, of the 50 pounds you lost, how much was lean muscle mass, which you may not even know, right? So again, let's come back and take a look now at Curtis, Look at this, ladies and gentlemen, 40.8 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days. I know you think it's fake. It's not. It's real. But look at his blood work. It went from A1C of 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. That's in 30 days. What's so amazing to me, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I understand how skeptical you all are. Many of you said, well, I've tried everything. I can't believe it. This maybe is BS or what. It's not BS. This is the real absolute proof of what's going on. And then Andy here, look at this. 45 pounds. That's more than 11 pounds a week and 60 inches in 30 days. And look at his A1C. It went from 7.9 to 6.2. His LDL from 120 to 59. Thank you all for the likes, by the way. If you just tap on your screen, it makes the likes go up. Now let's come back and let's come back to the picture. So this transformation that you're looking, would you all agree that's stunning? I mean, does it blow your mind that you could lose that kind of weight? Here's what she lost: 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches in 30 days, no exercise allowed. Okay. Now, what in the world did she do? Not a diet, not counting calories. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the people that invented this. They're considered the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for more than 40 years, 100 studied, thousands of people, and they just figured out that diets just don't work, and they had to come up with something new. So what was new? They said, in all our analysis, what we realized, when you put people on a diet, it has nothing to do with counting calories. You're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, and when you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, what else are you reducing? Nutrition. When you reduce nutrition, the brain senses there's not enough fuel to run the body. And what it does that's unhealthy and really ineffective, it begins to burn your muscles for fuel. In so doing, it automatically slows down your metabolism. That's why the weight loss at first is fast, then it goes to a trickle, then it stops, then you go off the diet, you gain everything back. But the other thing these diets are doing to you by losing lean muscle mass is you also slow down your own immune system. So these very diets that you may be on now, you're thinking about doing, you did in the past, are literally making you unhealthy. Now, you don't have to believe me about that. You can look at the medical, medical proof in this country, right? Right now, it's estimated that between, I think it's 40 and 80% or so are what's called metabolic unhealthy. If they have 3 of 5 factors: overweight, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. So let's assume it's even 40 or 50%. That's a staggering number of people with those kind of conditions, right? Well, I just showed you just a couple examples, like Curtis, for example. Look at this. His A1C, which is blood sugar, right, went from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, which are part of that being metabolic unhealthy, went from 242 to 124 in a month. The main reason to do this is not to lose weight. But let's come back now and talk about what did she do? What did the researchers do? So this protocol was based not on calories, but pretty much on serving sizes, a totally new concept. And what the researchers who invented it did, they put together a grocery list, but only 30% of the food she consumed came from the grocery store from organic foods. Does everybody get that? So 30% of what she consumed, she got a list: fats, carbs, proteins, salads, vegetables, fruits, etc. Okay? The other 70% didn't come from the researchers, because the researchers, they don't have any products, they don't have a company, they're scientists, right? But they found other researchers who'd gone to Russia, to Mongolia, to Tibet, the Himalayas, South America, and New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of quantity. So first off, her first month, 30% of her food came from the grocery store, but not calorie counts, serving sizes, like how many ounces of protein, how much, a cup or half cup of vegetables, whatever it was, all laid out, no guesswork. That's what she did. The other 70% were these 5 foods that came from around the world. Then they created 2 completely new ways of consuming food that no one had ever done before. So 5 days a week, she did something called protein pacing. On those days, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these 5 food groups from around the world: lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these 5 foods around the world. So 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not this time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, and had just these nutrients from these 5 foods around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was literally eating about every hour and a half to 2 hours over the course of about 14 to 16 hours. Look at the results, not her results, just all the results that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. I mean, do you understand this is such a breakthrough that this could change the rest of your lives? I hate to tell you, but all the research is now showing that 2/3 of you, despite losing weight, will end up weighing more than when you started. This is not one study or two studies, it's multiple studies now saying that the worst thing you could ever do is calories in, calories out to lose weight. It's never been proven long term to keep weight off. Now, that may make you mad. You may get mad at me. You may say it's BS. You may think I'm making it up. The medical proof doesn't lie. We only give you medical proof. We don't give you opinions. You got tons of people on social media that will give you opinions. With all due respect, there are medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and fitness people and weight loss coaches and health coaches. But if any of them had a solution, a real solution, they'd be trillionaires. Because the problem, it's not a pun, is so enormous. As a matter of fact, I have a study over here from Johns Hopkins Medical School where they said, the title of the study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. They're estimating 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. Now, lest you think it's just a North American problem, the Lancet, one of the biggest medical journals in the world, now predicts, or now says, 1 billion people, 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese, making obesity, this is from them saying it, not me, obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. What? Yeah, because what they're saying is it has nothing to do with the quantity of the food you're consuming. It only has to do with the nutritional density, how much nutrition is in the food, because your body doesn't run on calories. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. Why? Anyway, put in the chat for me, why in the world are you counting calories? Hello, Mrs. Spence. Wow, we're getting lots of likes. Thank you all. 47 Hike, Heather, Lee Hubbs, user 527. Lots of people joining us today. Gil, sorry, Gil. I couldn't quite read your name. So what we want to do is we want to show you and prove to, well, we can't prove it to you. We didn't do the research. But the research proves that this is safe and effective, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. Because so many people right now are desperate. Now, right now is a good time to think about it because people are going to, we have weddings coming up, we have graduations, we have summer coming up. And you're going to go on these diets, and we're going to show you the medical proof in a moment. I'm going to go over again, what did they do? How in the world did she do this? Or more important, look at Julie. That's like 35 pounds she lost in 37 days. 35 pounds in 37 days. And look at the change in her body type. Where's the loose skin? Look at her arms, look at her stomach. Look, it looks like a different person. It's the same person. We don't make up things. And all of you, at any point you can go, there's the website above her head in blue, the New Health Conversation. Also above it, look, free coaching. Because if you go to that site, we're not going to contact you. No, we don't need to do that. We let the medical proof do the talking. If you like what you see, so few of you do it. It's crazy. I get thousands of people on these podcasts and a tiny fraction ever. It's free coaching, for crying out loud. You can go there. Now, why do we do it? Because someone coached us. We didn't know how to do this. We got coached. But more importantly, we don't know anything about you. Do you know we have kids as young as 2 doing this? We have a lady, 91. We have a lady, 80. She lost 92 pounds in about 8 months. And 8 months ago, she couldn't climb a flight of stairs. 8 months later, she's playing pickleball 3 times a week, swimming 3 times a week, and walking 4 to 5 miles a day. This is not a diet. We have people with no thyroids. We have people with no gallbladders. We have people with kidney transplant. We have a man with a heart transplant. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical claims whatsoever. Don't hear me say that, because that's not true. What we're doing is we're sharing with you the medical proof behind how in the world she did that. Mrs. Spence, she looks great. Yeah, I know. How? Okay. Explain what's the process. Okay, Gall. Here's the process, okay? Let's come over here. So what they did, the researchers that invented it, not us, they're the top weight loss researchers in the world for 40 years. Let's leave it at that. What they figured out, the reason diets fail is because they're based on the wrong premise. They're primarily based on calories in, calories out, and the human body doesn't even know what a calorie is. All a diet is reducing the quantity of food you're consuming, or maybe you eliminate carbohydrates, and maybe that's an approach, but you're still eating less food. But when you lower the amount of food you're consuming, what else you're lowering, everyone? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it absolutely doesn't have it. It goes in survival mode, thinks you're starving to death. It immediately stops accessing the fuel from your fat cells, and then turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you lose weight initially on all these diets, no question about it. Then it trickles, then you plateau, then you quit the diet, come off the diet, and you gain everything back, okay? What they said was this: can we give people less food? Okay, that's easy. But what wasn't easy is, can we give them more nutrition? In other words, can we lower the amount of food, but not only not lower the amount of nutrition, but increase it by concentrating on only one thing, the nutritional value of foods. And what they did, they figured it out. And they put together a grocery list for her of organic food that came from North America. But only 30% of what she ate came from North America. And they were, proteins, fats, carbs, salad dressing, fruit, carbohydrates, etc. Only 30%. And also, instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. This is really important because it was serving size. It wasn't calories that had anything to do with the success. Then the other 70% of the food that she consumed didn't come from the researchers, because the researchers, they don't have a company, they don't sell any products, they're scientists, right? But they found other researchers who had found food groups from Russia, from Mongolia, from Tibet in the Himalayas, South America, and New Zealand that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients for what she was about to do. So here's what she did. 5 days a week, they gave her and everybody else that I've showed you 4 meals a day. Unheard of on diets, but this isn't a diet. She started the day with the nutrients from these 5 foods around the world, which these researchers have called, for the first time ever, they feel they created the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint, okay? So breakfast was the world's most perfect meal. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, again, the world's most perfect meal. 2 days a week, she did something that'll spin most of you out. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food at all from the grocery store, only these world's most perfect meals, but then they let her eat 8 times a day. You heard me. She was having something about every hour and a half to 2 hours. Look at the results. Look at the results. Does everybody understand that? So it was a combination of what she did was 30% from the grocery store. She got a grocery list, fats, carbs, proteins, etc. And the other 70% were these groups of food from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand that had huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of quantity. And then 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day, started with the 5 food, the world's most perfect meal, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, the world's most perfect meal. That was 5 days a week. 2 days a week, she did what I just said, intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. In those days, absolutely no food from the grocery store, only these 5 foods from around the world, 8 times a day. I didn't misspeak, 8. So, but every hour and a half, she was eating something. Now, I'm going to show you the rest of the before and afters as well. But before I do that, let me go back again. Any of you at any point can go see the medical proof, free. And if you go to that site, we're not going to contact you. We don't do that. We don't need to. We're researchers. We let the science do its speaking. See it right there in blue, the New Health Conversation. It's free to go there, spend as much time as you want. And if you like what you see, scroll, you see it right there. Free coaching. Only after you get to see the medical proof, get a coach. It's free. They'll coach you the whole time for free. Someone coached us, okay? Understand that. But again, everyone, look at these results. Please give me some comments. So Americ, Jennifer, Diane, let's see, Royal, John, AQ joined, Hans, who else? Tama joined, Bailey Birch. Where do you get the world nutrition? Okay, so goalie, again, it's not just, you got to understand, goalie, it's not just the ingredients, okay? When you go, so here's what you do if you want, goalie. Go to the website, look at the medical proof. Then you can scroll down and you get a free coach. They'll go through, they'll show you the food list, they'll go through everything. They don't sell you anything. They have nothing to sell. They're teaching you how to do this, including here's the list that you take to your grocery store, and here's how to buy these foods from the world, these suppliers. And then they teach you how to do this, because it's not just you understanding cooking. You have ingredients without a recipe. You don't have a damn thing. You've never done anything like this. It's free coaching. It's not a gimmick. It's not a trick. It's not like you go there, well, if you want coaching for more than a month, it's $50. No, that's not how it works. As a matter of fact, this is called R2M, goalie. You know what that stands for? Race to maintenance. The only reason to do this, it's not a question, can we get the weight off you? Teaching you to keep it off for the rest of your life. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. This is, get it out of your mind, all of you. It's not a diet. It's like nothing you've ever done before. Well, has anyone ever seen those kind of results? Look at that. 30 days, here's what she did. 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches in 30 days? Really? Or Julie? That's 35 pounds, by the way, in 5 weeks. That's 7 pounds a week. But look at the change. It looks like a different person. It's not a different person. It's the same exact person. So we got lots more. Nadia joined from your posts. Mary joined. Okay. Now let's look at a few more people. Now this is the daughter of a friend of mine, unless you think it's just a 30-day flash in the pan. 60 pounds in 3 months. 60. That's 5 pounds a week for 3 straight months. I know you think it's a different person. I know you do. Look at her. Look at that, everyone. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her body. I know you think it's Photoshopped. It's not. And it's backed by these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. She not only lost that kind of weight, this picture is about 8 years ago. She's kept the weight off now for 8 years. The whole key to this is the longevity of it. It's called R2M, race to maintenance. It's not can we get the weight off you? Of course. When do you see Curtis, an older gentleman? How about 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days? That's 10 pounds a week. Hello, wake up. Is everybody awake now? I mean, some of you, it's early still in the morning. I understand that. Some of you, it's nighttime, afternoon. This podcast goes all over the world. But look at example of the food list. Okay, so the food list is everything from fats, carbs, proteins, salads, fruits, etc. But the thing, Goalie, that's an example would be the serving sizes, like how much of each. Because keep in mind, they were basing this on the nutritional density of everything she was consuming, okay? Some of the foods were basic in the form of nutrients. It wasn't like kale or spinach or something like that. There were ingredients, for example, that came from Mongolia in Russia, and also from Tibet in the Himalayas, that massively lower stress and inflammation. My God, in the studies, they proved inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. I mean, I guess you could say you think it's Photoshopped. It's not. May, how did they achieve this? Okay, let me go back. So first of all, this is the stunning transformation of just one of many people, right? So now let me show you, how did she do it, May? The researchers who created this are considered the world's #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world for 40 years, 100 studied thousands of people. And they figured out the reason diets don't work is because, first of all, it has nothing to do with counting calories. The human body doesn't even know what a calorie is. So they said, the heck with that. We want to base everything simply on the fact that on a diet, you're consuming less food. And up to this point, by doing that, you were getting less nutrition, which caused the body to go in starvation mode and burn your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on diets, come off diets, and gain everything back. So what they said, we want to give people less food, but their concentration was, can we find food sources with huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of volume? So they limited her. 30% of the food, people keep asking me, were proteins, fats, carbs, salads, fruits, vegetables, etc. But they did it in serving sizes, nothing to do with calories, nothing to do with calories, okay? But only 30% of our food came from the United States. Why? Because our food in North America, in case you didn't know, is all but nutritionally bankrupt. I mean, our food has got so little nutritional value. That's why people keep eating. They're never full because they need more nutrition, not more calories, right? Then the other 70% of the food that they didn't find it, other researchers did. See, the researchers who created this, they don't have a company. They don't have any products. They don't sell anything, okay? We don't sell you anything. So the other 5 foods she consumed came from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, represented huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food by serving size, okay? So now they had the recipe. Now they had the ingredients, now the recipe. 5 days a week, May, she had 4 meals a day. She started with the world's most perfect meals. That's what the researchers call this. Lunch came from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery, and a 4th meal after dinner from these 5 foods around the world. She did 5 days a week. She had 4 meals a day. 2 days a week out of 7. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting. Don't hear fasting. Don't hear water fasting. Don't hear time restricted eating. Nothing to do with any of that stuff. On those days, no food from the grocery store, and only these 5 foods from around the world, but this time, May, 8 times a day. She was eating something every hour and a half to 2 hours. Look at the result. I just say, look at the results. May, do you see it? How are the results? No, it has nothing to do with Melaleuca. Melaleuca is a company that sells cleaning products for the most part, okay? It has nothing to do with Melaleuca. And it's not fasting, it's intermittent nutritional fasting. And the other thing is, you got to understand that, with all due respect, none of those companies like that have any peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. There are 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Look, the people that invented this, they don't have any products. They don't have a company. They did it. It was complicated because they had to figure out how could we give you enough nutrition, but in limited amount of food from a measurement, from a serving size. That's what they did. No, there's nothing like it. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Look at this. This is the daughter of a friend. 60 pounds in 3 months. 60 pounds. Melaleuca's not a weight loss. They don't have any weight loss stuff. Maybe they do, but no one's ever seen results like this. And it's backed, it's completely safe. That's 100% safe. Look at that. So, Unicus, user 371, let's see who else came out. Cat, Maxi Nexec, let's see, Marquita. Now, as great as that is, look at this for the men. Look at Curtis. Almost 41 pounds in a month. Least important part of his story. What? Yeah. Look at his blood work. This is about health. This isn't about the number on the scale. That's for us silliness. We're going to get you that number for sure. But look at the change in his metabolic. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days, monitored by his doctors in the studies. Hello? Are you kidding me? Maybe that's not good enough for you. How about 45 pounds? 11 pounds a week and 60 inches in 30 days. Again, look at the blood work. A1C, 7.9 to 6.2, LDL 120 to 59. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? Please tell me, put it in the chat. You can disagree with me, but if you're going to disagree, show me peer-reviewed human trial studies that are backing up what you're saying. Because I'm now going to show you why every diet you're on is a miserable failure long-term. Let's start with Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. From the study, they said, most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500, you lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. This is Harvard Medical School. They went on to say the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. Says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, she said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. They don't have anything to do with Harvard. But let's go a little bit farther into it. Here's a huge study, The Science Behind Why Diets Don't Work. That's the title of this study. Let me read it again to you. The Science Behind Why Diets Don't Work. Despite all the ads that say otherwise, it's very rare for you to keep weight off for good. Not only that, 2/3 of people who diet regain more weight than they originally lost, ending up at a higher weight than where they started. A review of more than 30 long-term studies show that going on a diet actually causes weight gain. The more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. What are you doing and why? Why are you counting? This is nuts. We've got 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Does that sound like any of you? What about this? How about that? That's real. And she wasn't allowed to exercise. And she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I don't want you ever to believe me. I'm the researcher of the research, not my research. Now let's look at what Medicare is now. This is Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. They went on to say, again, our researchers reviewed studies of long-term calories in, calories out, restrictive diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on their diets. In summary, there is little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you doing? Why? You're following some nice people. I see them online. But have they showed you one shred of medical evidence, one shred, or anything like this? No, because they don't have any medical proof. The studies that have been done on diets are pitiful. Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. Here's a study. Let me find it. It's right here. Okay. This is a study done in the Journal of the American Medical Association, okay? The title is Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs in Overweight and Obese Adults. They looked at 48 studies, 7,286 people, 12 months. They named all the major diets: keto, paleo, Mediterranean, Cornish, zone diet, time-restricted eating, Jenny Craig Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, on and on and on. After 12 months, when they looked at the most amount of weight loss on any diet to the least amount of weight loss in a year, you know what it was? 10 ounces. The average weight loss in a year was about 16 pounds, and a major portion of what they lost was lean muscle mass. This is 7,000 people, 48 different studies on pretty much every diet out there. What are you all doing? You're smoking hope dope if you think you're going to go on a diet, lower calories, and you're going to keep it off. Maybe you're an anomaly. Maybe 1 in 10,000 people, you'll lose weight and some of you are going to keep it off. But all the studies say that even though you've been successful losing weight, you're making yourself unhealthy. By losing lean muscle, not only do you slow down your metabolism, but you slow down your immune system. Who's telling you this? Is anybody sharing this with you? Anybody on social media telling you that? I know they got credentials and they're writing on whiteboards and they got all this nonsense. Have they showed you any medical proof? I haven't seen it. When I look at the medical proof, it's horrifying. Now, let's talk about the shots for a moment. I'm not against the shots, by the way. They're helping diabetics and they're helping people that are morbidly obese. But let's look at the real results. What's really happening weight loss-wise and health-wise on the shots? Here's a study in the New England Journal of Medicine. You all can go look it up on once-weekly semaglutide in adults with overweight or obese. New England Journal of Medicine, 68 weeks. That's a year and 4 months. The weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds. And right in the study, 40% of the 32 pounds they lost was lean muscle mass. And they went on to say, this is associated with clinically relevant reductions in body weight. Really? Well, she must not have got the memo because she lost 21 pounds in 30 days. Or Curtis didn't get the memo. Wait a minute, he lost 40 pounds in a month. They took 68 weeks to lose 32 pounds, and 40% of what they lost was lean muscle. It's right in the study. We don't have to make up anything. Just read the damn studies. It's right there in front of your eyes. Or go look up Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets, calories in, calories out, to assess whether dieting is effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost. What are you doing? I know you want to. You're believing what everybody's telling you. You're going online. You're seeing this. Nice people, smart people, great. Wrong approach. Otherwise, let me explain something to you. John, I've got it. I found it here. I was looking for the study. Here's the actual study. I'm going to hold it in my hand. Johns Hopkins Medical School. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. We estimate 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in less than 5 years. Does that sound to you like diets are working? I know probably I'm making a lot of people mad. I know a lot of people are hung up that said, well, the only way to lose weight is calories in, calories out. No, it's not. It's over. It's done. It's dead. It doesn't work long term. It's making you unhealthy, for crying out loud. Yeah, I get really animated and excited about this because we want to be able to, look, you can go see the proof for free. We won't even contact you at the New Health Conversation. And if you do decide to do it, you get free coaching. Hello? Someone coached us. We're paying it forward. We don't have any products. We don't sell any. Research don't sell any product. I mean, effectively what she did, she got a grocery list from these top weight loss researchers in the world who 40 years had done about every diet analysis there was and created this protocol based on 30% of the food from North America: proteins, fats, carbs, salads, fruits, vegetables. And 70% of the food they have nothing to do with. They found other researchers who provided 70% of her food came from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. That represented huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of quantity. And then they created new ways for her to consume food, and all of us. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of volume. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and her last meal of the day was, again, the 5 foods from around the world. She did that 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food in the grocery store, only these 5 foods, but this time they let her eat eight times a day. I didn't misspeak. So she was having something about every hour and a half to 2 hours. Look at the results, everybody. Look at what she did. Any of you, if you're honest, how long would it take you? Well, this is it. This is it, Helena. I mean, again, you tell me. Helena, how long would you give? I have 40 pounds to lose. I had the weight loss surgery. 60. Yeah. Helena, she lost half of what you wanted to lose. She lost it in 30 days. What's the base? Helena, what's the best weight loss? You're looking at it. And it was developed and it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. No weight loss surgery, no bans, no starvation. No one has ever seen anything like this. And it's all natural and it's healthy. She gained lean muscle with no exercise. And Helena, you can go for free and see the proof right there at the New Health Conversation. We're not going to contact you if you go there. The free coaching, you determine if you want to get the free coaching. We're not going to contact you. We don't need to do that. We're way too busy. We're coaching too many people. I invite anybody on this podcast to go there and look at the medical proof. But Helena, how much would excite you if you could lose 20 pounds in a month? That's 5 pounds a week. 40 pounds easily you could lose in 2 months. Would that excite you? Let me hear in the chat. So Cecilia Morant, wow, look at everybody coming on. Shelby Girl, Tropical Delights, fabulous. But everyone, oh my God, look at Curtis, everybody. 40 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days. Not 30 weeks, 30 days. And look at his blood work. His A1C 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? It's not Photoshop, by the way. So tropical, let's see, Jameson Reed. Hello. Richie Rich. Hello. Yes, I'd be happy to lose 40 pounds. Okay. Helena, you realize there's no risk. You can go see the medical proof for yourself, not for us. I'm not trying to convince you. I don't need to do that. Helena, we got the medical proof right there. You'll see an interview, Helena, with the #1 nutrition weight loss physiologist in the world for 40 years. You know what he says in the interview? They'll never recommend any form of weight loss, bans, surgery, whatever, ever again. Nothing can compete with this. I mean, Helena, are you kidding me? If you lost 20 pounds in the first month, do you think you'd be motivated to lose the other 20? All of you have this chance. Hello, Mick. Hello, Natalie. Yes. So, Helena, do yourself a favor. Let me show you one more time for all of you. Look at the website above my head, the New Health Conversation. Do all of you see that? It's free to go there. There's nothing to buy. We won't contact you if you go there. The only way we'll contact you is if you contact us by scrolling down and getting a free coach. It's not a gimmick. Look at that, everyone. Does that not excite you all? Or look at Julie. This is 5 weeks. That's about 35 pounds she lost. That's 7 pounds a week. Look at that. Look at the body transformation. No loose skin. Look at her arm. Look at her waist, stomach, abdomen. Look at her legs. And that's 37 days. What is holding you all back? Skepticism, I get it. But unless I'm lying to you, which I'm not, what do you have? What could you learn if you went to the website? There it is for all of you again, the new health conversation. You can see it. This is why there's a money back. Yeah. 50 plus 1. I don't even know who 50 plus Wonderlust is, but yes, I didn't even mention that. There is a 100% money back guarantee, by the way, on the 70% of the food that you would buy from. Imagine that. Those suppliers are willing to give you all your money back on 70% of what you're buying a month's worth of food. It's not a product. It's not a lotion, potion, pill, capsule. It's food. You have to eat for a month, but you're eating different food in different ways at different times in different combinations that I didn't figure it out. They did. The top weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. What is holding you all back? By the way, we're only at 1,500 likes. Can we get some more taps on the screen to up the likes? If you like the content, support this website, support this podcast. We need to help as many people as we can. This is a complete and utter disaster. John Hopkins, I read it to you before, right here. Study, this is John Hopkins Medical School. A study predicts obesity apocalypse. By 2030, they estimate 86% of Americans could be overweight or obese in less than 5 years. 86% of us? What? You think the healthcare system is going to be able to support this? But the trend keeps going up. My God, I've got the trend lines right here. In 2000, it was 66% overweight and obese. In 2010, it was 71%. In 2020, 79%. And the latest projection in 2024, it's going to be 86.3% overweight or obese. The trend's going like this. But you all keep going on these diets. You go to Barnes & Noble, there's so many titles. They're all the same thing. They're showing you how to reduce the amount of food you're consuming. They never one mention that as you reduce the quantity of your food, you're reducing nutrition, which triggers the starvation mechanism in your brain, prevents you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel. Every diet, you're losing 25 to 40% of your lean muscle, whether you want to believe it or not. Those are the numbers. We're not making anything up. So who else wanted to come on? Sean girl, right. Good. I'm glad you agree. Stephanie, hello. Shauna, agree. Natalie, Mickey Rish, I think. Or Mickey, is it Mickey? Or is it Mick Irish? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce your name. Sean girl, right. You all can go to that website. Look at my friend's daughter. 60 pounds in 3 months, 60. Hello? I'm only laughing because it's like, what? But look at the transformation in her body. I know you think it's Photoshopped. It's not Photoshopped. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her waist. That's 3 months? Really? Anybody? Look at that. Is that unbelievable? I know it's unbelievable, but it's not because, and again, it's backed by the peer-reviewed human trial studies. That picture is 8 years old. She's kept the weight up for 8 years. I lost 40 pounds. In 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it up for 23 years. Now that's what you should be. And when we look at the medical, look at him. You would think, oh my God, 40 pounds in a month, that's amazing. That's not the best part of his story. That's good. Look at his stomach, but look at his blood work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. This affects all those metabolic factors. Look at Andy. Look, his A1C went down 7.9 to 6.2. But look at his LDL cholesterol. Went from 120 to 59. What's holding you all back? Skepticism. You think that I'm full of it or I'm making it up or this is BS. It's not. We don't have to hide anything. On the website, The New Health Conversation, you can see the medical proof. And then you get, if you decide, not us, we don't contact you. You can get a free coach the whole time through. No charge, free coaching. Why? I guess what I'm saying is, why wouldn't you go there? Why wouldn't you go see medical proof? Sean girl, I'm doing it on my own. She looks beautiful. Thank you very much. What you do, sir, is to lose. Soviet. What you do, sir, to... Oh, what did they do to lose? Is that what you're saying, Soviet? Now I understand. Okay, so here's what they did, Soviet and for everybody else, and Sean girl. The researchers, they put together new food combinations. Only 30% from foods in the United States. Proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vegetables, fruits, etc. Only 30% of what she consumed. The other 70%, you'll like this if you're Soviet, some of the food came from Russia, some came from Mongolia, some came from Tibet in the Himalayas, some came from South America, and some came from New Zealand. That represented 70% of the food she consumed. Then they created 2 new ways for her to consume the food based on the amount of food she was consuming, called serving sizes, not the amount of calories. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So what she did 5 days a week, she ended up having four meals a day. She started with these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. That was breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and her last meal of the day, these 5 foods around the world. And 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these 5 foods. But then she had eight meals a day. Oh, she was eating about every hour and a half for 2 hours. And look at the results. All these people, that's what they did. I mean, again, look at, how about that? 45 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days. For those of you in kilos, that's like, 22 kilos. In 30 days, but look at his blood work. Look at his A1C, 7.9 to 6.2, and his LDL 120 to 59. Huh. Can I get more information to work with you? Of course, Lisa. Hold on just a second. Lisa, here's what you want to do. See that right there? The new health conversation. Because Lisa, one of the things we're looking for, we don't have enough coaches, okay? And people volunteer their time because someone coached them to help them. But there's a lot more that could be involved. So when you say you want to get involved, I'll tell you what, Lisa, when you go to the website, when you sign, if you like what you see, go down, it says free consultation. When you fill out in the little form, put that you were on my podcast and you want to talk to me personally, and I will personally call you back and see how, maybe we could in some way work together, okay? But you don't have to do that. You can go to the website, see the medical proof and say, oh, this is hooey, I don't want it. Fine. Because I have no way to reach you if you go to the new health conversation. Let me just be very clear about that. Does that make sense, Lisa? I understand this is crazy. Look, I understand everybody's skeptical when they see this. They think it's fake. But again, look at my girl, this is my friend's daughter. 60 pounds in 3 months. Lisa, have you ever seen it? Look at her body transformation. And she didn't, no one's allowed to exercise. Now, if that's not fake, look at her face, arms. It's not fake, okay? I keep having to tell people this is real. It's not Photoshop. It's not some AI deal. This is absolutely what happened to her. Good, Lisa. I'm just curious, what part of the country or world do you live in? Because it's available, the suppliers, not us, because we don't sell you anything. It's available in about 30 countries, like all across the EU. It's in Canada, United States, of course, et cetera. So I'm just curious. Oh, okay, Idaho. So I'm actually in Colorado. So I think, are you on Pacific time still, or are you on Mountain time? It's 7:30 here in Denver. So I'm just curious, without me looking it up, I don't know if Idaho is on the east. I mean, if it's Mountain or it's Pacific. Mountain Standard. Okay, so it's 7:30 your time as well. So Lisa, if you fill that out, I'll do my best to get back to you even today. What I'll do first, I'll send you actually a text, let you know it's me, because obviously I don't give up my phone number. That would be suicide, right? And then I'll call you and we can set up. And also important, Lisa, do you do Zoom? Because normally what I like to do is do a Zoom, because then I can screen share and show you everything, because it's much easier for you to see it in real life. Yes, okay. So what I'll do then, I'll send you also an email with my Zoom link. We'll agree on a time when you're available, and then I will personally interact with you, okay? Because you've been on my podcast and you're very, very nice to offer and want to, again, for all of you though, we have medical doctors, we got PAs, we got RNs, we have dietitians that are all coaching, because someone coached them. Don't you think we need to, my God, I'm sure you agree, Lisa, we have 80% of America overweight today, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Does anyone think diets work? And Lisa, I don't know if you were on when I read this study from Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. This is the study. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted and calories-in and calories-out diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on their diets, and the studies likely underestimate the extent to which dieting is counterproductive because of several methodological problems. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. The whole point behind this is maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, Lisa, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. I don't think I look heavy anymore. I was, and I did. So again, Lisa, just to make sure for everybody, there's the free way. It's free to go there, everybody. We're not going to contact you. What is holding you back? Skepticism. I get it. I'm only laughing because it's, my gosh, I don't know what else we can do but show you a free website with the medical proof and we won't even contact you. You get to choose. Isn't that a novel approach? We're not gonna contact you if you go there. Only way we'll contact you is if you decide, scroll down, sign up for a free consultation with one of our coaches. That's it. So you betcha, Lisa. I'm happy to do that for you. And Lisa, what I would also recommend that you do, if you get some time before, because I would imagine it's going to be probably at least 2 or 3 hours before I'd be able to get back to you, because not only this, then I got some things I need to do. But if you can spend some time at the New Health Conversation, in particular as an interview with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, it'll stun you, but it'll probably spur more questions for me to answer for you. But like I said, once I see your notice, I'll send you the Zoom link to set this up, okay? Oh, Helena signed up. Wonderful. Wow. Helena, oh, beautiful, Lisa. But Helena, did you get to see some of those before and afters? Did you see some of the men and women there who lost 100 pounds, no loose skin? Helena, did you get to see that? I mean, it's crazy. This is nothing compared to what's on the website. Some of those stories are amazing, right? Now, for those of you that are athletes, I want to show you why it's not a diet, okay? Wait till you see this. So I just got to find it. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Okay, everybody, that's 11 days. We'll look at day 1. Actually, pretty good shape, right? But that's the morning of day 5. That's 4 days, the second picture when it says day 5. Then the last picture, day 12, that's the morning of day 12. So 11 days. Look at that transformation across the midsection. Look at that. It's not photoshopped, I promise you. Now, you might say, that's fake, right? Right, Helena. Are you excited about getting an interview with one of the coaches? I'll bet you are. Wonderful. We want to help you for sure. But everyone, so you don't think it's photoshopped, okay? I happen to know this person. That's my youngest son. It's my youngest son. He's like 42 years old. Look at that. I mean, I'm jealous, of course, right? I'm a little bit older than him, but look at that. Is that amazing? Oh, yes, you're excited, Helena. Great, great. I mean, all of you, look, here's the point. What we encourage everybody to do is to go, well, we're only 1,600 likes. Can we get to 2,000? Come on, everybody. If you just tap on the screen, it pushes up the likes. So I want to try and get to 2,000 if I can today on this podcast. We've been going we're a little bit under an hour. I'm probably going to go, let's see, I'll probably go about 10 more minutes, maybe 15 minutes at the most, unless someone comes on and has a question like Lisa or Soviet or any of the other people who have been asking me questions. Please feel free to come on. You can even disagree with me, as long as we have civil discussions. As long as it's not name calling that you don't know what you're talking about. It's BS. The only way to lose weight is calories in, calories out. No, it's not. That's total nonsense. But let me share one last thing with you, with all of you, why you really want to do this. There's a new medical syndrome. I'm going to show it to you right now that I have and you have, everybody in the world has, called TDOS. What does it stand for? The T is for toxicity. D is for nutritional deficiency. The O is for being overweight. The S is for stress. It's a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent Office. Yeah, you can see my name there. I did discover it, okay? Now, what it means is we now know that we're breathing, we're drinking, we're eating chemicals, and what our body's doing, it's taking them first to the liver, and now our livers are so overwhelmed, they estimate 40% of you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. When the liver can't handle the toxins anymore, as the toxin comes in the body, it bypasses the liver, and the body's last line of defense is to take that chemical and stuff it in your fat cells, what's called your visceral fat. That's the fat around the organs, okay? The reason typically you end up with all the fat around the middle, because that's the place the body's going to protect first, because your liver and your kidneys, the two biggest filters in your body, are there. That's why, look at her. You can see in that stomach area how much that actually went down. Because this protocol, they did blood, They did stool, they did urine, they did fat analysis, proving, listen to this, everyone, this is helping the body get rid of these chemicals stored inside of us. I mean, Julie is another incredible example. If you look at her stomach area and her legs and her arms, look at how much she shrank. Because see, here's what happens: is the chemical comes in the body, and the body pushes it in your fat cell expands. Okay. Well, if you can move the chemical, the fat cell collapses. See, don't let anybody tell you that you lose fat cells. There's no such thing. If you lose a fat cell, the body immediately replaces it. So you have the same number that you were born with, you die with. That's how it works. But those fat cells can expand or they can contract. The only way you really lose fat is liposuction or through surgery. Okay, so don't let anybody tell you you're running and you're burning fat. No, it's not. It's not true. I mean, you lose it for a nanosecond, and then the body replaces the fat cell, because fat cells are very metabolically active in our body, whether you believe it or not. But look at the change in her body composition. That's what I want everybody to focus on. Or Kristen, you can see it. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her stomach, abdomen, waist. I mean, it's really pretty remarkable. Or even Curtis, even though he has a shirt on, look at that stomach. I didn't even point that out. Look at his stomach. And that's 30 days with no exercise. But the big thing with him, big thing with all of us, why not improve your metabolic function? I mean, his A1C goes from 8.4 to 6.4 in a month. His triglycerides, 242 down to 124 in 30 days. No diet's ever shown anything like this, ever. And this is just 30 days. He went on to lose even more. And these pictures are 8 or 9 years in his case. And he's kept the weight off now for 8 or 9 years. That's the only reason to do this. That's why it's called R2M, race to maintenance. Does that make sense to everybody? And I'd love for anybody to put in the chat, tell me a diet that you think either you're on, you think it's going to work. Is it going to work? What's my opinion of something like, say, intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating? It's not my opinion. It's the medical studies show how ineffective it is, along with every diet out there. I know that you're all motivated to lose weight and get healthy. But the problem is that the methodologies that we have now are now completely debunked. Let me read to you why calorie counting medically doesn't work, okay? Maybe, I doubt anyone ever told you this before, right? So listen to this, everyone. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while calories in, calories out can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. See, that's the sad part. You know what all these studies are saying? Like this Medicare search for effective obesity treatments, diets are not the answer. Our researchers reviewed studies of long-term calories in, calories out diets to assess whether this approach is effective treating for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on their diets. And these studies underestimate the extent to which dieting is counterproductive because of several methodological problems. In summary, there is little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Why are you doing diets? Why are you counting calories? They don't work long term. Period. End of this. Not up for debate. Study after study after study after study. They're all saying the same thing now. When you're going on a diet, in the long run, 2/3 you're going to gain more weight than you lost. What are you doing? What are we doing? This is madness. It's the definition of insanity. And so few of you will take advantage. No, Andrea, it's not a supplement. No, 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 no. So, Andrea, let me explain. You came in a little bit late. What did they do? So let's use Kristen as an example for you, Andrea. What did they all do? Here's what they did. The researchers who invented it, Andrea, have no products. They don't have a company. They're the top voted the top researchers in the world for weight loss, nutrition, and physiology. 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. They figured out why diets didn't work. And they're real simple. When you go on a diet, it has nothing to do with calorie counting. You reduce the quantity of food you're consuming. What else are you reducing? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it automatically goes in starvation mode and begins to use your muscles for fuel, ignores the energy stored in fat cells. When you do that, the body then ultimately slows down your metabolism. That's why people plateau on diets. That's why they come off the diets and get everything back. But not only does it slow down your metabolism by losing lean muscle, you also slow down your own immune system. So here's what they did. They said, can we give her and everybody else this new, that they invented, Has nothing to do with me. I didn't invent this. They invented it. And there was a theory, could we give people less food but look for foods with more nutrition? That was the theory. So they limited the amount of food she got, 30% from the grocery store. You actually, Andrea, would get a grocery list. Not supplements. We're talking about, proteins, fats, carbs, carbohydrates, salads, fruits, etc. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes, okay? Now that's 30% of what she consumed in a month. The other 70% came from other researchers, not these researchers, who'd gone to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of quantity. So now they had the ingredients, right? 30% from the grocery store, 70%, enough food for a month. That's basically what you would do. See, here's the cool thing about this. You're eating food, okay? Let's try that on for size. Then 5 days a week, they created a new methodology of her eating food. On those days, she had 4 meals a day, Andrea. She started with the world's most perfect meal for breakfast, had lunch from the grocery store list, had dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these 5 foods around the world. She did that five days a week. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store and only these 5 foods, but they let her have 8 meals a day. So she was eating something every hour and a half to 2 hours over the course of 14 or 12 to 14 hours, depending on whether she did it every hour and a half or 2 hours. Look at the results. Look at the results. That's not Photoshop. It's not faked in it. And she only had 35 pounds to lose. So she lost 21 pounds. But look at the inches. And then look at Julie right here, Andrea. That transformation is, but that's 35 pounds. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. It's almost a pound a day. But look at the change in her body composition. That's what I want people to understand. It's not a diet. It doesn't work like that. The weight loss is just a throw in. The main reason to do it also is to support our own health. Let me show you Curtis here, an older gentleman, 40 pounds in a month, Andrea, 40, 52 inches. Look at his blood work, his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242, they dropped to 124. In 30 days, no one was allowed to exercise. Nobody exercised. So when I'm showing this picture, that's with no exercise. And yet, when they measured her lean muscle mass, instead of it decreasing, it increased 6 to 9%. And with no exercise at all. There's nothing like this on the planet. So Andrea, what we've provided for everyone for free, that website, the new Health Conversation. If you go there, we won't contact you, Andrea. We don't need to do that. You'll notice right above in black, it says free coaching. It's free coaching. Someone coached us. We need to teach you, well, first you'll get the food list and then show you how to order the other foods from the other suppliers. But then we teach you how to do this because it's about serving sizes. It's about the timing of when you eat what. As a matter of fact, the researchers developed, and you'd get the same thing if I can just find it here. Here it is. For all of you to understand, it's called the blueprint for success. Now, what happens in this is all these yellows are from the researchers explaining to you, this is what you're doing, why you're doing it, this is why it's safe. And they don't have any products. They don't sell anything. So they have no financial gain if you, obviously they don't work for your grocery store and they have nothing to do with the suppliers who supply these 5 foods to you. But it gets better, Andrea, for all of you, listen to me. The 70% of the food she consumed or you would get, those suppliers give you a 100%, no questions asked, money back guarantee in the first 30 days. Try to do that with time-restricted eating or paleo or keto or Mediterranean. No questions asked, because nothing's 100%. That would be ridiculous. But they're so confident, and I'd say it's 99% effective. It's so rare when anybody doesn't have a result that they want to continue, because the whole key to this is not to get her weight off initially. It's the maintenance. And Andrea, maybe you went on. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's the real reason to do this, is maintenance. It's not, can we get your weight off? That's not even an issue. That's a given. As a matter of fact, if you go to that website, you'll see people that have lost 100 pounds, no loose skin. Pretty amazing, right? Yeah, so Andrea, hopefully that makes sense, and you can see the website is what I encourage you to do, Andrea. So you can see it there in blue above her head, the new Health Conversation. And then if you like it, only you determine if you want to get a free coach. We're not going to contact you. We don't do that. We don't have time to do that. We're not in the business of convincing or trying to sell people anything. So anybody else like to ask me a question before I close out this? So again, it's now I guess it's quarter of 10 on the, it's 9:47 on the East Coast. So let's just see, I'm just trying to think. So 10, let's see, 9. So I'll probably do another podcast in case you have friends or someone missed it or you getting on at the end and you want to learn more. I'll probably do another one between 11 and 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. My TikTok site is The New Health Conversation, and normally if you go there and like it, they'll notify you when I'm going to do a live podcast. Normally I do a minimum of 3 of them, sometimes 4 a day, because obviously the need is so ginormous that people are very, very interested. And I just encourage all of you to go to you have nothing, and it's not a pun, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain, not from a weight perspective, but knowledge that could change the rest of your lives, okay? Okay, well, everyone, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to sign off for right now, and I hope you have enjoyed this. We got a lot of likes today. Thank you all very, very much. And hopefully you'll go to the website. You can see it there, The New Health Conversation, and sign up for a coach. Get an interview with one of the coaches for free, and they'll coach you the whole time for free. No gimmicks, no tricks. So have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever part of the world you're in.